mean, winter builds, advice on their builds, questions, tuning questions. Hence the name
Before
Tuning
you
Tuesday.
buy a bunch of parts, make sure they're gonna jive together.
Got that question over text earlier. Well, why won't you tune for those injectors? Because there's no good data for those injectors. So
the struggle.
Struggle is real. So I got my GT500 on the dyno. Made some more power today.
God damn.
Long-awaited dyno video on the continuation of my GT500.
Headers being the main difference, I suppose, between before and after.
Headers and a little more boost, I guess you want to call that.
Okay, a little bit more resistance.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
making those horsepower numbers. Stock engine is good. Cross your fingers.
Exactly.
Oh man, cross your fingers so hard.
The real question is, when are we doing cams?
I know, the fucking car needs cams. It will be fucking awesome. Pretty much. Pretty freaking much.
People want to see how far you can push a stock engine.
Man,
I can tell you cams is a good way to do it.
When we do cams, do we keep the lower stock?
I mean, let's go hard. Let's throw 10% on it.
Throw 10% on it? But
that's not a track pack car, so we could go 15.
Yeah, but here's my only thing. Everybody with the GT500 changes it lower, and with a Gen 3, you don't need to as much.
Yeah.
It
seems to be something we do more so with built motors now.
Yeah, they need all the airflow because of cams and heads.
Yeah.
So, to your point about cams, I may need some airflow there.
Yeah.
Ooh, need some cams just so bad.
Race truck season.
Right? Yes, it is Joe's race truck season.
Yep. Joe's got to get his exhaust done still. I've been slacking hard on that.
Yeah.
I did buy the stuff I wanted to test exhaust back pressure and stuff. So now I just got to assemble and then do it.
So Joe's 2.5 into 2.5 Y pipe is too restrictive on his truck, and he found.
I think the bigger issue is the 2 1/4 out back.
Oh.
I'm 2.5, 2.5 into a 2.5, into a 2.5 inch muffler, into a 2 1/4 inch tailpipe.
Oh, you still have the factory tailpipe on your car?
No. I have the S550 leg. Because remember I called you that one night when I was putting the exhaust in the truck? Because I didn't want it exiting under the truck, but I didn't want to cut up a perfectly good pipe we had here. So I grabbed one of the legs from an S550 mid pipe and welded one of the legs on to kick it out from under the truck so that when I was driving back from Georgia, I didn't have to listen to drone for 4 hours.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be doing something different from a mid pipe standpoint and probably cutting the flanges off the headers and doing dual 3-inch.
Let's get that puppy going. Get that down a track, get a 9-second quarter mile pass out of it. Who wants to see Joe's truck run 9s? Raise your hands.
Raise your hands. You mean chime in on comments?
What,
Yeah.
Chris and Max are raising their hands.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
nobody can see
Carrie
that.
didn't raise her hands. I see the
I
love.
want to see.
No, it's too late now. I see who you really are now.
Oh man.
I wanted to get our audience involved.
I see you.
tension.
I see you.
Isn't there an emoji for raising your hand?
I think so.
There
Okay.
is.
I think so.
Michael says 9s for sure, and Stephen Bowen has the emoji with the hands raised.
2 hands.
And Robert Whedon says me. So,
All right, thanks for the support, everybody.
Tim says 8s.
8s.
Ooh,
Oh, Jesus.
That's a lofty goal.
He's putting the pressure on.
I feel you. I
Well,
mean,
and
hey, if you want to
Michael-
donate towards the Joe Fund, I'll try to push for 8s. But
And Michael Slocum says better yet, let's go 8s as well. So you got 2 people sitting there saying 8s.
ooh,
Maybe we can do some T-shirts to fund Joe's 8-second goals.
that's lofty.
I can,
Yeah.
I can come up with a design.
We got to sell maybe like 1,000 T-shirts.
I can come up with something.
Probably a bit more.
I'll match whatever we sell in T-shirts
Oh,
towards
man.
Joe's
Oh,
8-second
yeah.
goals.
Oh,
Sweet.
man.
I'll come up with a design. We can do it, Joe.
We got this.
Rebecca says, can I put my hand down yet?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, honey.
You're
please.
clear. You're clear. I seen it through the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that was really grammatically
All right,
correct for you
Joe,
guys.
We'll work together to come up with a good design, and we will get them.
I don't know that Joe's on board with this.
I mean, I might be.
Yes.
I'm down. I like to party, but I think a 8-second truck is going to be tricky. So
Oh,
You know, we're always pushing the envelope though with Coyote.
yeah, Yeah.
We have always pushed the envelope.
The real question is, how fast is the fastest street truck? Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking globally. Go back to, I mean, you could go back super far into the 60s, 70s trucks that people have gone crazy, like Pro Mod tube chassis with, but I want all sorts of caveats to it.
Well,
Which I hate that stuff.
That
but,
question's already been answered. Larry Larson
Mhm.
built an S10 that is in the 6s.
Wow.
So we're just going to have to settle for like a Coyote.
Well, no, I was thinking like F-150 type stuff.
Okay.
Like,
Fastest F-150 street truck.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think like there's maybe like a 93 Lightning F-150, or there's something at the top of the high performance F-150s list that is, I want to say upper 8s.
You know what? Johnny Lightning, I believe his truck runs 8s. Now, given it has zoomies on it, it's pretty hardcore, and it's got a one-piece front end, a tubular front end, and everything. So it probably weighs slightly more than a Mustang race car.
Probably.
Tim says 4-wheel drive, cut up the bed and ditch the weight.
2-wheel drive, don't worry about cutting up the bed because you saved all the weight from
Yeah.
from not having 4-wheel drive.
From not having 4-wheel drive.
That and the aluminum bed, I don't think you could pull much weight out of it. There's not much to it.
Yeah. Your truck doesn't have a bed liner, right?
It has spraying.
Oh, so I've stayed away from the spray and bed liner on my truck because of that weight.
I did not. I wanted it to. I hate scratches.
Yeah.
So like if I would have seen a scratch in my
Painted bed.
painted bed, I'd be like, ah,
Yeah.
ah.
I feel you there. I feel you there. We get any questions coming in,
I was
Carrie?
going to ask you, do you want some questions?
Yeah, throw some questions so we don't
Blake?
ramble on too long.
Okay, Blake says, on a stock Gen2 Coyote, what do you think of the GT350 manifold versus an 18 manifold with twin turbos?
I think that the GT350 manifold and the 18 intake manifold are, as the saying goes, cut from the same cloth, and that I don't anticipate either one being really drastically different from the other in a twin turbo setup.
I mean, twin turbo stuff, even with boost, you want a high RPM, short runner, big volume type intake manifold. And like Joe said, I think either one of them fits that bill just because we know how they perform naturally aspirated. A turbo is just going to magnify that, kind of performance. So it just comes down to cost and availability. The GT350 manifold is like a nice, like heavy piece, and it's all black. Which if you want that look over the gray top half, there's some benefit there.
That, and if you want functioning IMRCs on 15, 17 without plug-and-play harnesses or without messing with the vacuum, the GT350 fits that bill too. It's just more expensive.
Really interesting note, the Bullet intake is the same part as the GT350, and on the Bullet, they use the dual solenoids, even though it's a 19, so Ford has a harness that goes from dual solenoids to single on the engine harness.
Nice.
Yeah.
On the same conversation to some degree, Jordan says, why are GT350s not normally boosted by positive displacement?
Don't see a whole lot of people racing those cars, and we never boosted ours because of potential issues.
And I think his question was almost a little bit more generic of just like why, because it didn't meet the targets that Ford wanted, and because maybe that wasn't their goal with GT350. That's the whole reason why there's a GT350 and a GT500. The GT350 was always like the good performing weekend track day corner carver, not meant to be like a straight line bulldozer.
Yeah.
And then they made the GT350 like the open track car, and now they're making the GT500 kind of like what I'd consider to be a good blend between that traditional drag racer and something that's probably still pretty decent.
Exactly.
Open track.
It just didn't really go down that path as that type of car.
I don't think that was ever its intent.
Yeah.
Johanna says, hell yeah, brother. Melvin says, hi there, guys and gals.
Hola.
Jason says, good afternoon, guys and gals. Question for a friend. On 11 GT, Calimer built Stage 1 MT82. Is an 18 manifold on LU47 and E85 safe on stock OPGs? Anything to avoid? And max shifting RPM?
So shifting RPM is going to depend on how your tuner has the tune set up and whether or not the file's patched on an 11 to 14 car. I'd say ideal shift RPM would be up close to 7,900. Depending on who's tuning it, that's not always possible.
I would have liked a little more RPM with Chucky.
With that being said, I'd say that the intake manifold and injectors in and of themselves aren't going to really cause any durability issues with the oil pump gears.
Yeah, those are safe.
The RPM you're going to be running in the rev limiter and whether or not you stay off it is going to be more so the thing that could be potentially detrimental to not having oil pump gears. But like I've said to a lot of these people, like if you have concerns about hurting oil pump gears, throw a set of oil pump gears in it. It's not like you're talking about a $3,000 short block. You're talking about they're $350, I think, for some of them, or even cheaper for others.
VMP oil pump gears are going to be coming out next week, and they will be $450 for the set.
Okay, are we doing an oil pump gear crank sprocket set?
Yeah, once
Okay.
you're in there, you might as well replace the crank sprocket too.
So along those same lines, if you have legitimate concern about oil pump gears, do the oil pump gears and the crank sprocket, because it's one of those things where you very well may never have an issue, but if you do have an issue, it can potentially be catastrophic in the sense that it's a whole long block.
Yeah.
So it's a condom for your engine. Is the easiest way to put it.
You know, like Joe said, you can take the risk and you can be fine for a long time, but if you're not worried about it, but there's no magic RPM limit where your oil pump gears shatter.
And there's no like clicker for it. There's no like you hit the RPM, or you hit 7,000 RPM 150 times and then your oil pump gear magically shatters.
There's
it's like the stars have to align against you and then they die.
For what it's worth, the naturally aspirated cars, all the road race Boss S cars and Boss R cars that were made back in 11 and 12, they never really had problems with oil pump gears. It seems to be the boosted cars twisting or higher acceleration rates with all the power seem to fail those gears the most.
PJ McMillan says, do the gears, just do it.
Just do it.
Couple things. So people are asking about Chucky. So we have new Chucky video. Will be out later this week. Slab Shack. Yeah, Justin referred to Chucky in the past, but Chucky is still living. So we will still have more Chucky videos coming up in the near future.
You can't kill Chucky.
And Chucky has stock oil pump gears and an 18 manifold shifting at 75 to 7,600 RPM. And if I had my HP tuners cable with me last time at the track, the thing would have been shifting at 8.
Chucky
Going full send.
Yeah.
I ain't scared.
Not ready to retire yet. Cameron says, good afternoon, everyone.
Hola, Cameron.
Michael says, okay, so are you saying that it's not necessary to replace the cam on the Gen 3?
The cam?
For GT500, I think.
So aftermarket camshafts are going to often produce higher power levels and they're going to lower the boost.
Even with a stock supercharger?
Yeah, which is going to make that supercharger more efficient for airflow to go up and boost to go down.
Yeah, if you think about it in terms of like LS world, at the first mod for half those LS guys, the first decent power mod is cam, other than like tuner headers.
And we've seen great results from the L&M NSR cams that we sell. You must have been listening before the show started because Joe and I were talking about putting them in my GT500, my 2012, which we'll soon be having another video come out on.
And I'd say that for the guys that are up around that like 20, 22 PSI stock engine level, that's the next logical step when you're talking about adding power and getting a decent return on investment in power is cams.
Yeah.
Because the built motor in and of itself, if you leave compression the same, isn't going to increase power. In order to get more power, you have to get more airflow at the end of the day if you're leaving every other variable the same.
Yeah.
Simo 117 says, enjoying watching y'all while deployed.
Awesome, man.
So thank you for your service. Nick says, what mods are required at a minimum on a stock 17 GT performance pack to get to a VMP Gen 3? Looking to get the Gen 3 package installed by us next winter.
I'd say if there's nothing you really have to do other than the Gen 3. The Gen 3 kit is like a have to. I'd say the closest thing you're going to get to a have to is tires because of traction.
And if you're not already doing it, shame on you. filling up with 93
Yes,
at the gas station, or if 93 is not available, 92 or 91.
Yep, preferably in that order.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure that when you bring it down to get the blower installed that you've run at least a couple tanks of 93 through it, and then if you have any dreams of hooking up, put a decent tire on it.
Yeah.
Because the stock Pirellis, if we leave a conservative setup on it, they'll try, but emphasis on try.
Let's see here. Travis says, good afternoon, everyone. Travis Schott.
Hola,
Hey, Travis.
Cameron Marr says 200 shot and 8s is what he's expecting for the truck.
For the truck?
Ooh.
I could. Let's call up with the boys at Nitrous Express, have a screwbar kit put in it.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Simo, who's deployed, says, can Joe wear a DBZ sticker covered helmet for the 9-second pass?
I'm actually getting with Ashley on that. The helmet we got at Mod Nationals, I'm going to have her throw some stuff on that. Probably a couple DBZ things, maybe a Majin symbol on the front.
What's all this stuff?
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh.
It's after your time. Not much after your time because you and I aren't too far apart in age, but at least a little bit.
Michael says that he will take an extra large in your shirt.
Sweet.
In my
That
shirt?
first taker.
Oh man, what is your shirt? I haven't seen. Oh, I have seen that one.
Yeah.
I have in mind.
No, in the shirt that we're going to create for the
Yeah.
truck.
Oh, the truck shirt.
The truck shirt.
Man.
Your shirt, yes.
My bad, dog.
It's all good, it's all good. BTOW says, on a stock Gen 2 Coyote, what do you think of the GT350 manifold versus 2018 manifold with twin turbos?
You already
We answered that
question.
one. Yeah, it was the first
Sorry,
or second one.
he's
It's all
gotta
good.
be doing 2 channels.
It's all good.
Poor Boy says, happy Tuesday, you guys make my day at work go easy.
Awesome. Thank
Good
you,
to
sir.
hear.
Melvin says, hey guys, sent my data log for my 12 GT Gen2R Stage 1 kit.
Mhm.
And after Michelle Wilbur took a look at it, said it looked beautiful. 18.5, 18.75 degrees of timing.
Mhm.
I can only say what an awesome tune, thanks.
Awesome.
Good to hear.
Good to hear, man.
I can just see Michelle being like, this looks beautiful.
Mhm. I can hear her saying that. In fact.
Abdullah says, hello guys, I ordered a ported 18 manifold from us earlier today.
Mhm.
How many days is it going to take to get it ported and be ready to be shipped?
I know that we were stocking ported manifolds,
Yeah, they're actually on the shelf and shipping out.
so probably only a couple days.
Yep.
Although if you're judging, not to be a stereotyper, I don't even know what you'd call it, but judging by your name, it may be longer than a couple days
if
if it's
yeah.
got to go overseas.
Yeah.
I think he chimes in regularly, and I think he may be correct.
Yeah, we have quite a few people from over there that chime in on the regs.
Yeah. Robert says, hey VMP team, just want to say thank you for making great parts. So happy with the couple I've been able to buy.
Awesome.
I'm looking to upgrade to a Gen2R this year and wanted to check if I need anything else to make a 630 plus to the wheel with my 12 GT500. He has a triple pass TwinJet 67 fuel pump voltage booster, JLT 123, 170T stack on the car now. He says he's going to get 56 pounds injectors soon. He's currently making 536 and 543 torque.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
So probably like a 2.5 upper setup. Depending on your fuel quality, 630 is pretty easy to achieve on that setup. I'd say the only thing I'd like to see if it's in the budget is a set of headers. Can you do it? No, I have hiccups today. Can you do it without headers? Absolutely. Is it something that's easier with headers? Absolutely. So with that being said, on 93 octane, your goal should be pretty easily attainable even without headers. If you're on 91, I'd really like to see headers on it.
Yeah, and I mean, really the only, besides headers, which is going to help the horsepower, I would just have some 56s in there. They're cheap and they're easy, and they'll help support what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely get those in before you put the blower on.
Eli says, I'm probably just understanding this wrong, but can you explain post-regulated fuel pressure? I bought the Ford 465 setup for my car, and it's post-regulated. Not sure how it regulates the feed side when the regulator is on the return side.
So is he talking about the pop-off valve on the pumps?
I think he's just trying to understand the regulation of the system.
So is he trying to put 465s in a stock hat?
I think he's just the order. You know, deadhead versus.
Oh, so post-regulated after fuel rails?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, there's a little diaphragm inside the regulator, and there's a ball and a spring, and when you set the regulator, you're adjusting that valve to cause the fuel to back up and create a certain amount of pressure. And it's pretty much how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Jordan says, what realistically does it take to make a Gen3 S550 go into 8s? No nitro full weight.
A lot of boost, probably a built motor. You might be able to get away with a stock bottom end, but it's not going to live long at that level. A tire, E85 or race gas, and a JLT 125 or a PMOS 120, good size throttle body, and a track surface that jives with your launch. Auto or manual is going to make it a little bit trickier.
Yeah. John Hartman did it with a Gen 1 2012 Coyote car with an illuminator, a Gen 3.
I think he had exhaust.
Exhaust, yeah, E85. And yeah, I mean, he just went like an 895 or so, and he actually did it on a 63 millimeter pulley that had been sandblasted on a 6-rib belt. So that was kind of a stretch, but he got it. He
got it to work.
Yeah,
it did it.
That was his goal, to go out there and make one pass like that.
Lots of questions coming in. Jonathan Whitaker says, what's up, guys?
Hola, John.
Hey, Jonathan. That
Hey,
tensioner
Jonathan,
should
guys
be
and
here any
girls.
day now.
Daniel Lopez says, is it possible to spray NOS on E85 S550 How much of a shot can a stock S550 handle?
You're going to hit the restriction of what I'd like to see on a manifold before you're going to hit the limit of what I think a bottom end could take. On E85, I'd say if you're on a stock intake manifold or a like stock intake manifold, so like a GT350 manifold, a stock intake manifold, an 18 manifold, anything that basically does this or some rendition of this, I wouldn't like to see more than a 150 shot. If you're on a CJ setup, you could probably run a 250 or Bosch manifold. But
Joe's talking about puddling in the intake manifold.
Yeah, and I guess power limit would be similar to what a power limit would be with a normal power adder. The trick is just getting even distribution with a nitrous kit to help keep it together. And with plate kits, that gets a little harder with the bigger shots. You may want to look into a direct port setup or a fogger.
Yeah.
Jonathan Whitman says, sweet, thanks again for the tensioner, Justin. And Laz Reg anyway says, hey Justin, please don't blow any rear diffs.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
We got to figure out why. We got to try launching that truck in 2-wheel drive on a sticky tire instead of 4-wheel drive.
Put some cameras underneath it, see what's going on. Yeah.
I almost think it's getting in like a
Weird.
hob because of the transfer case and the chain and stuff.
Yeah,
I think the chain's going slack. Like as soon as it
lifts up the front end or something. Weird push-pull type situation.
because I've seen GTRs do weird launches like that too, where they bunny hop. Like a 2-wheel drive truck will just kind of get rear end hop, but it seems like the 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive stuff, the whole thing picks up and then drops.
I mean, it's great for the street. It just sucks for the track.
Matt Gerlach.
Hey, Matt.
Gerlach.
That's Matt. He works at Lethal Performance for people
Yeah,
that
he
don't
wants
know.
to know, he's asking, he goes, why is Matt at Lethal Performance so cool?
I don't know, Matt. It's been a while since we talked.
Melvin says he's testing tomorrow there in Puerto Rico, hoping for 10s.
Awesome.
Shelby LSX says, What's the power limit on a stock 9 GT500, 09 GT500 with the stock motor? Will 750 to the wheel last if it's not abused and banging the limiter?
I think so. I feel like I got this question over email or on social media, maybe on YouTube over the weekend or something. But yeah, 750, I wouldn't worry about it. Gen 3, good exhaust.
I wouldn't try to do that on 93.
Yeah, you throw a touch of boost-ane in it, we can get you a solid 750 with a very safe tune.
Jason wants to know, does VMP lock their tunes from being read by software like BCM Editor from HP Tuners, from PCM? Got VMP tune via an SCTX4 years back, but can't seem to read it. Not trying to be a tuner, but I'm reading several books and trying to understand what's happening and why. Wanted to ask before emailing HP Tuners.
Yeah, our stuff's locked.
Yep, our tunes are locked. Whether you get SCT or an HP Tuners Engage from us, we do lock our tunes. It's
kind of like industry practice.
Yeah, at this point.
That if you're paying someone else to do your tune, bank on the file that's in your car being locked.
Yeah. So HP Tuners has got a great support structure for them and stuff like that. I'd go on there, do some reading, and just kind of start from scratch. If you build your own tune, you will know everything that goes into it, and you'll learn a lot better that way.
As you work through the process of learning how to tune, you'll understand more about what you're changing and what exactly it has a kind of like a direct correlation with what's happening as a result of you changing it.
Yeah.
So it's just a better way to go about things.
Jacob wants to know, if I already have a tune and then install an 18 intake and headers, will there be a big need for a retune?
If you currently have a 15-17 car and you currently don't have an 18 intake, you absolutely need a tune update to run the 18 intake.
Jordan wants to know, why do people... Okay, so earlier he was asking about the positive displacement. Do you remember that question on GT350s?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He says, sorry, let me correct. Why do people turbo them versus positive displacement?
Turb skis are popular these days.
Turb skis have always been popular. I love turbos, but to that same end, I love blowers. I think the reason that most people are doing it is because for a while there, no one made a direct bolt-on kit for a GT350. And honestly, I think the calibration side of things with a turbo setup's easier than a PD blower setup.
You're not making boost at part throttle, not much at least.
And you're not changing the throttle body to something with a different
size,
motor, different size, all that stuff. So a lot of things stay the same. But I guess at the end of the day, turbos, A, less stress on a crankshaft. B, in the early iterations of GT350, there were no blower kits made specifically for GT350. I think within probably the last year, Whipple, I think, has a dedicated GT350 kit or some semblance of it.
Diet Coke. And you got to figure, too, a GT350 is a higher-end car. Thanks, Chris.
That and significantly lower production numbers.
Yeah.
So.
Turbo kits are generally more expensive once you figure in labor and some of the other special stuff that goes into them.
And most kits these days are twin turbos, so now you're buying two turbos, which for good turbos can be like $2,500, $3,000.
Yeah.
We're being asked specifically if we have winter hats and or beanies. So I had responded, yes, we have beanies.
We have two beanies.
And here they are.
Get yours now. There's
You
only
wanna
one of
see
each
them?
left.
$19.99.
There's not really only one of each left, but
So that way you can see, yes, we do have beanies. If you have interest, just let us know.
I'd hop on our website. I'd get yourself a beanie, a sweatshirt, a USB drive, and maybe a t-shirt for when it's warmer. You guys can wear the t-shirt like when you're at home and just kind of look forward to the warm weather up north. And then you'll qualify for free shipping if you get enough stuff off the website. That's my shameless plug for today.
are these like a one-size-fits-all type thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. They're pretty cool. Chris is wearing one right now.
They're very comfortable.
Nice. They don't have that weird itch that some beanies have?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Justin Young says hello. He's chimed in.
Hey, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
So Neil Ontario, who's
Patrick
a
Harris.
regular, is in Orlando for the week at the park. Should I drive up for a tour Friday? All means.
by all means, if you want to,
Yeah.
feel free. Just make sure you give the sales guys a call and get set up with like a little time frame when you're going to be here, so we can.
Just let us know when you're coming by. Pick up a beanie or a shirt while you're here, and yeah, we'll take care of you.
Come on up.
Come on down.
Poor boy says, I'm planning on changing my oil pump gear. Should I change my oil pump pickup tube?
I guess I'm thinking of like the 18 up stuff where
It's in the oil pan. Yeah. So if you have a 2018, the oil pickup tube is built into the oil pan.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say by and large, no.
Julie wants to know, on a 06 VMP Tune GT, just ordered the one-piece aluminum Ford Performance drive shaft. Will my tune need an update?
Your tune will not need an update. I appreciate asking that.
Kylie says, an 18 Mustang GT just ordered a tune from us for a JLT intake and long tube catless. What are some other ways to turn the check engine light for rear O2s?
All I can tell you is use Google search. We don't really want to tell people how to defeat emissions. It's definitely one of those gray areas where it's like asking a cop, all right, so this is breaking the law. How do I do this? Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we have to play on the thin line there, and we can't really give you descriptive details on how to defeat emission systems.
I mean, we can give you the detail of don't remove your catalytic converters.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say internet's your friend on that one. You can find a lot of stuff on the internet. Sorry, I can't really be more helpful than that.
Robert says, hey VMP team, just wanted
Hola.
to say thank you for making great parts. So happy with the couple I've been able to buy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Larry
Like, share, and
says-
subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.
Larry says, why do so many tuners prefer ID injectors over, say, Bosch injectors?
Oh gosh.
Oh, we need to get Paul in here.
Paul
Can we get
Yaw.
Paul in here?
Let's channel some Paul Yaw. Basically, Paul at ID went to the effort of having really good data for all the factory ECUs on his injectors, and a really strong process of flow matching and qualifying each injector.
I really appreciate what Paul did.
Yeah. I mean, he really.
I think everyone does.
He set the standard for the industry, and everybody's pretty much tried to copy him since then. That being said, we have one low-cost option that we offer with our supercharger kits, and we offer it individually. But for higher horsepower builds, we usually go to ID.
I have a favor to ask because I see some of the questions coming in multiple times. So if you guys are on the channels, either channel, YouTube or Facebook, and I
Try
also
and
see
stick with that.
right, and ask the question one time. Believe it or not, I'm copying all the questions into a document and reading them in the order that they come. So I will get to you. May not be as fast as you want, but I will get to you. Asking it multiple times and then going from channel to channel asking it multiple times just causes confusion. So I'm just going to ask that nicely.
I called the dermatologist, and they actually told me the exact same thing. Don't call and leave multiple voicemails for the
We
office
will call
staff.
you.
Yeah.
We will call you. Carl says, what are your thoughts on Ghost Cam tunes?
To get the job done for
hard
people
part.
that want the noise.
Hard park. I think every tuner now has played around with a Ghost Cam tune, and it's
My truck has had ghost cam on it.
Yeah.
I pulled it off about 10 minutes later and my cat started smelling like rotten
Oh,
eggs.
they smell so bad.
Yep.
And
I don't like that.
other ways to initiate a Ghost Cam tune: unplug a couple coil packs or injecters.
Disconnect a very large vacuum line and disconnect your O2 so it can't do a short-term correction.
Yep. You get the
Oh,
There's
man.
ways beyond tuning to do the Ghost Cam.
Don't really disconnect injectors and shit.
It's a huge novelty, and
yeah.
we're really focused on performance, not necessarily novelties.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now.
Gopher Chuck's Game says, well, I need to have my car retuned by you guys if I install the CobraJet throttle body on a Gen1 TVS.
If by CobraJet throttle body you mean CJ65, no. If you mean CJ Mono, yes.
Bum,
Bum, bum, bum.
bum, 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 bum. Raheem says, is there Are there any advantages of having a 15-inch rear wheel compared to a 17-inch on an 11 GT? I have 600 horsepower to the wheel. What tire size should I be using?
Oh gosh.
I'd go as small as you can get within reason.
If you do 15-inch, you need a sway bar relocation, which is actually pretty easy to do. You can even do it yourself if you're handy with drill bits and welders and stuff. But the tire technology has come a long way. There are decent 17-inch drag radials now, but 15-inch is still like the gold standard for a drag radial.
Yeah, and I think it depends largely on what type of power you're making at this tire. In my opinion, you only really need something better when you've hit the limit.
Yeah.
Like if you can't get that 17 to hook up no matter what you do, you've tried all different types of tread compounds, all different types of stiff wall. Well, I don't even think they make a soft wall bias ply slick in a 28.
They might have 17-inch stuff.
I know Hoosier has QTP stuff,
Yeah.
but I can't remember if that's
They give you that option.
yeah.
But like for 630 wheel, that's what they said, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You could probably get it to work on a 17 just fine.
If you're not trying to do hard launches, there's actually pretty sticky street tires that in 17, 18, 19, 20 now.
I've seen people go real fast on 20s.
Yep.
Hell, I've seen 35s, like the donk racing. Do yourself a favor and watch some donk racing. Watch some guys pick up tires on like 30-inch wheels.
God.
And you tell me if a 15 is absolutely necessary, or if you get the setup just right, can you make it work?
Go for Chuck says, okay, thanks guys. Issa GTCS says, what's up?
Hello.
Nick Moore 93 says, he says every time, all the time. So had to relate to something we said earlier.
Awesome.
Topper said, should I do oil pump gears on a 13 GT500? A 13 GT500, 2.4 twin 67, JLT 123, cats missing in action.
MIA. I like that.
Were
It's
they
funny about
MIA
it.
or KIA?
Yeah, you could easily do KIA too. I wouldn't go after the OPGs unless you already had the engine apart on a GT500. What do you think, Joe?
I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen too many GT500s have issues with oil pump gears. I have seen it, but it's not near to the degree
very
of
rare.
5 liters.
Yeah. We do plan to offer them upgraded for GT500s, and we'll probably put them in my GT500 when we do cams too, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'd say if you're going to crack the motor open to do cams or build it, go ahead and do them. But if you don't, if your plan isn't to immediately do that, don't worry about doing them.
Giovanni says, I have a 17 GT manual with cold air intake, GT 350 manifold, long tubes, and Corsa catback. I've been thinking about doing L&M cams. What will be the gains on 93 and E85? Also, will I benefit if I get intake and exhaust cams over just the intake with 47-pound injectors?
So I've dynoed the naturally aspirated stuff with the L&M. I haven't done naturally aspirated with the L&M stuff. I've done the MMR stage 1s that some guy brought to us. Those weren't really much power over stock, if any.
Probably like a comp stage 1. I mean,
Yeah, it was probably like a comp stage 1. I don't know who's like what they're changing from normal comp specs, but they were specifically MMR stage 1s, and I moved those cams probably about 40 different ways, and I couldn't get them to make much more power than stock.
if you look at comp stage 1 specs, even their stage 2 specs, they're baby cams, intake and exhaust wise.
Yeah, that guy wanted ghost cam too. Man. But I haven't done a naturally aspirated car with the L&M NSR cams, either with the intake only or intake only and exhaust. Now I'm second guessing myself. I may have. I'd have to go back through and look at my records. If you can ask that next week, I'll try and look in between now and then.
Slapcheck says, hey guys and gals, I want the L&M cams. Can I send you my GoPro and you film your GT500 cam install mounted on your shoulder like a parrot? I'll pay for shipping both ways, LOL.
I'll tell you what.
This is so strange, we're going to have to consider this request.
When we do cams in our GT500, if I can guarantee we're going to have video for the guys that are interested in that.
It's going to lope so hard.
Little car show bro chubs everywhere.
Hard parking in the ragged out GT500.
Oh man.
That nice smoked colored black paint. It's not very shiny anymore.
We got to get it cleaned up.
Yeah.
Get some new window tint on there.
And then yeah.
Get some 5% all the way around. Get some 13, 14 Recaros in there. Or even 12 Recaros.
Damn, Joe. You're speaking my language now.
Yeah. Ooh.
Calimer, we need Ben to go through the transmission.
We need a stage 2.
Yeah.
We have about 15 minutes left, and I have 2 pages worth of questions.
All right.
She didn't like our daydreaming.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, sorry, we're over here daydreaming about cars.
Sorry. Michael Snook says, hola guys,
What's up, Mike?
tuning Tuesday, but you're making frozen brakes in central Michigan much more tolerable today.
Oh, yeah.
I hear it's not good up there. I think Chicago is supposed to be colder than Antarctica today. That's crazy.
So Andy Hillens is chiming in. I'm going to say hi, Andy, because he was here on Saturday. He had the
MR2?
MR2.
Sweet.
Got it.
Awesome.
So,
That was a nice car.
gave him a quick tour and whatnot, and he was pretty excited. But he says, I'm building a Plymouth Barracuda drag car, utilizing a Ford 9-inch rear. What rear diff gearing LSD would you recommend? 700 horsepower, 408 small block with a 200 shot of nitrous.
You gonna put a Chevy Trans in it as well? That would have been a good, it might have been a good car for that transmission I had that I sold.
Oh, man.
But to that point, man, if you're going to drive it on the street, I'd probably put like a 323 or something in it, fairly low, or a strange dealer.
Did he say he's doing a Coyote swap?
408, I think he said.
So like small block Ford or like a Mopar 408?
Oh, shit, I don't know. But I'm assuming it's going to get like a 3-speed with a 1-to-1.
Yeah, because they had like
gear.
a Torque Flight 727 for some of the older
Oh.
stuff.
But yeah, if
Yeah.
it's going to be a street cruiser, I wouldn't put a lot of gear in it. And if you need it to launch, just have a good converter.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty good recipe. It really depends on what you're looking at, 1/8 mile and 1/4 mile trap speed wise though.
Yeah.
Since we're getting low on time, I have such a list of questions right now. Great.
Right.
List. Your
We just
question's
got to go.
Yours is going to be the last question. I'm not going to take any more new questions. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Kelsey says, on your website, what is the fitment issue stated on the Gen3 of 15 plus F-150s?
I'm not aware of a fitment issue. I have one on my truck. We didn't have to do anything to really fit it.
Got one on our truck. Gen3's got a map sensor bung right on the back of it, so it's good.
Yeah, I'd say the only caveat is if you currently have a Roush blower, you have to convert to our cold air and our tank setup and whatnot. Although 15, 17, the tank's separate. It's not built into the
Yeah.
air box like it is in 11 to 14.
Just the cold air. Just run a one of the F-150 cold airs, which we've got separately on the website. If you call us, we're in this whole website transition period right now. Call us. We can get you anything you need, including digital Twin 69 TVs for 2018 up.
Andy just chimed in again. He said it's 408 small block Dodge, built 904 transmission.
Okay.
Okay.
Project 1X says, can you settle a rumor for me? I've heard many people say if you use a good ATI damper on an S550 that the stock oil pump gears are fine with supercharged motors. Is this true?
It should help, but it's not a catch-all for saving your oil pump gears.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Boomer says, I'm new to you guys. Love it. I bought a 14 GT500 with some bolt-ons from us.
Awesome.
It has a tuner, pulleys, air intake, and a throttle body. What kind of horsepower does that add to the car? 75 to 100?
I'd say a car's going to dyno around probably mid 600s to the wheel. You know, stock, they'll make 580, 590 wheel. If you want to do a pulley, we can get you like 675 wheel. That sound good, Joe?
Yeah, I'd say
then-
all assuming good quality fuel.
And then from there, consider upgrading to the Gen 3. The 5.8 can really use the extra air and the extra efficiency of the Gen 3.
Jason wants to know, will you tune fuel injector development 1000cc injectors on an 11 GT Auto Gen2R? Not sure how much data is out there on them.
FID.
Yeah,
I'm going to defer to Joe on that question.
I've tuned 2 sets of FID injectors. They tune decent, but
You're going to have to buy like a set of, IDs or FIC 1000s from us.
yeah.
Craig says, morning VMP, just want to let Joe know my intercooler is all flush, added the JLT catch can to the passenger side valve cover, replaced the plugs with BR7s, and replace the collapsed vacuum line. Will be set up to data log soon, as the replacement bearing is in the supercharger tensioner.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice, my man.
Eli says, should I keep my 13 GT factory recommended oil weight? I'm running a T6 Forge Warner 8096 turbo with the boost through an RPM built TH400.
I mean,
I'd consult the turbo manufacturer, but I don't see running a 550 through that being a problem.
yeah, I mean, heavier oil is going to protect the bearings a little bit better at higher power levels. That's why they recommend it in the Illuminator and the GT500. So I would at least run like a 5 or 10 W30, or even that 0 W40 Mobile 1 stuff seems to be pretty good.
QG Greer says, which setup do you think will get closest to 700 to the wheel on 93? A Paxton 2200 or Procharger D1SC? S550 with full exhaust. Thanks.
I think they're both on a pretty level playing field.
Yeah.
I'd put a slight competitive advantage to the 2200 if it's like a 2200 HD. But unless you're talking about like a, don't they have like a D1SCX? Kind of like how they're doing the P1X now.
Probably, yeah.
That I think it takes kind of cues from the F1 stuff. I think it's like a billet impeller D1.
Okay.
But I'd say those two are going to be on similar playing fields power-wise.
Jason says, any advice on materials you would pick up for a beginner? I got a couple of Greg Banish's books so far.
Greg's good. He's got books and DVDs. He's very, very in-depth.
Very thorough.
This tuning stuff is a lot of experience and having a clue and just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah. I'd say if you already have the books, read through them, memorize as much as you can, and then just start trying to apply it. If you're looking for a bit more hands-on guidance from someone, you can either hit up one of Greg's classes, or you could hit up the tuning school if you need hands-on help with a little bit of guidance. It's hard to find a tuner that will sit there with you and teach you how to do what he does. And those schools, both Banish's and tuning school, give you that opportunity to have someone that knows what they're doing, kind of look over your shoulder and make sure you're not screwing anything up too crazy. There's also a place in, I think it's in Texas. One of my buddies just took the class. Circle back next week. I'll try and think of the name of the class, and I'll try and have an answer for you next week.
M. Cran says, do you guys still sell the Gen2R case?
No. We stopped doing case upgrades because unfortunately they weren't very popular. However, we do have some takeoff Gen2Rs that we will sell inexpensively, especially Coyote variants. And going forward, brand new Gen2Rs are only $26.99. Just like message me on Facebook or something, and I'll work with you on that. Just give me a little more background about what you're trying to do, and I'll see what we got laying around here to help you out.
Jay Marby says, adding a supercharger, will it affect my inspection sticker when I go to renew it?
Not necessarily, but
we don't modify or defeat emission systems when we tune, so you'll still pass inspection. If you're in California, it's not legal for use in California, but yeah, you can still, all the emission systems are still going to be there unless you like remove catalytic converters or something.
or you remove rear O2s, or if you've done anything at its current state to defeat emissions, then when we go to tune it with our blower, we're not going to do anything to defeat emissions. So if you're, I guess at the end of the day, if your tune file is currently set up to defeat emissions through someone else, then when you get our tune file with our blower, it's not going to be set up that way and you may not pass. But everything being good on your car, hardware being good, the blower in and of itself should not cause you to fail emissions.
Poor boy says, hell yeah, I need a hoodie and beanie combo. It's freezing there in Michigan at minus 20 degrees.
That's a whole bunch of nope.
20. No, thank you.
Although I can say that I've been in Michigan when it's like just a hair below zero, and being up there at a hair below zero, it was in Kalkaska for those that live in Michigan, it felt warmer than it does here at like 25 degrees.
I used
Wow.
to live in Michigan.
Do you know where Kalkaska is?
Outside of Flint.
Yeah.
Is where I used to live. Outside
Great
of Flint.
White North.
Oh man.
Definitely don't go to Flint.
And I also lived Massachusetts, so
Oh man.
yeah.
Damn.
That's why I live down here now. Rick says, "Hi guys, got my Gen2R 2.6 pulley and tune working great with the new Toyo R8888R rears.
Great
Car
tires.
is a rocket. Thank you. Could not be happier."
Awesome. Glad to hear, man.
Maurice Cooper says, "I am ready to buy the TwinJet throttle body for the 18 F150. Are you ready to sell it?"
Yes, give us a call. We got them on the shelf.
Turbinator Lou says, "Hi guys, we finally got E85 in my area. For the time being, I'm on 93 pump tune." Alexander Wood says, "I have your Gen 3 going on my built 13 GT. How can I swap from a 69 millimeter pulley to an 85 millimeter pulley without changing the belt?" I feel like this was a question that came in like last week or the week before.
An expensive option for that's an MFP crank support.
Yeah.
You should be able to swap those two without having to change the belt on the car. Swapping between a 69 and E85 on a traditional Fiat setup or spider bracket setup, so like the Roush VMP belt brackets, is going to be near impossible unless you're going from not using like a Hasty or a Moseline bracket to using a Hasty or Moseline bracket. I think that'd be the only way you could account for the belt difference.
Yeah.
And even then, I think you'd have to get the belt with the pulley on the 88 and no bracket to be like practically like a guitar string. And then you might be okay on the 69.
I mean, at the end of the day, you could try and just try different combinations. See, you might maybe like an 82 to a 69 or something too.
PJ McMillan says it's minus 20 there tomorrow with a minus 45 degrees wind chill. And he says boost weather. To me,
I'd be
that's
curious to see
like,
what the DA is like that.
Yeah.
when it's that cold, I would just be staying in the house.
Sheesh.
There's just no way.
No, you just stay in your igloo at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Kyle wants to know, so will everything be fine with the tune for catless even with the lights on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Car still runs fine and performs fine.
Yeah, that check engine lights so that you know that, hey, something's wrong with your emission system.
Gopher Chucks, who says that his cats were MIA, says he has them. They're just on a shelf in his garage.
They're in a coma.
Jeff says 6R80's rear wheel horsepower limit before going bills on an 11 Coyote Mustang with traction and stall.
I don't know that there's... People always want these limits.
Right.
Like, they think that everything's absolutes, and there's not. I mean, I've seen stock 6R80s live at 900 wheel, and then I've seen 6R80s lose planetaries at like 700 wheel. So it's like...
Just luck of the draw, man. Race it till it's broke, or until you have an opportunity to beef it up. We have a bulletproof your 6R80 kit on our website. It's $1,200-1,300. You know, you can usually get a transmission guy to swap that stuff out for anywhere from like $300 to $800.
Mario says, how hard would y'all push the stock sleeves on a Gen2 Coyote? Pulley set up on a Gen3 blower? So 2 questions here.
We come across this a lot, so...
I know that we've had issues with the sleeve at like, what would you say that was, like 900 wheel? And it wasn't even the sleeve cracked, it was the
aluminum block behind the sleeve was cracked, and we don't know if the block was always like that or if it happened due to power or to running a little bit lean one time, but it actually started around 700 to 750.
Yeah, but that was wheel through an auto, so I'm thinking like
it's a good amount.
crank horsepower
Crank.
calculation.
At the end of the day, if you have a good block, which most of them are good,
Yeah.
you can run, I would say if you want to have like a 900,000 wheel car with a fairly efficient power adder like our Gen3 blower, you can get away with it. If you want to go race every single freaking weekend at 1,000 plus, then sleeves are your friend.
Poor Boy says, when changing oil pump gears, should I change the timing chain tensioner on a 13 GT with 27,000 miles?
I don't think so. Yeah.
No. I know that some aftermarket cams out there are harder on valve train components than others. So I'd say with the L&M stuff, damn hiccups. With the L&M stuff, we really haven't had any issues or durability issues with that stuff.
Gopher Chuck says, I have an 08 GT500 with a Gen1 TVS, JLT carbon, long tubes, 1100cc injectors, Flowmaster mid-pipe catless out of Flowmaster Outlaws. That is what he wants to install the CobraJet throttle body on.
So did he say if that was a CJ65 or a CJ mono?
He did never say.
Okay, so yeah, my answer remains the same. If it's a CJ mono, you will need a tune update. If it's a CJ65, you shouldn't need one.
And the last question that I'm going to take for the day, and we are exactly at 2:31, is from Gray Ghost. I have an 18 Rouse charged. IAT2 averages 60 degrees above IAT1. How much of an improvement will I see with the triple pass heat exchanger? And would it be better to run 2 pumps, one to push through the heat exchanger and the other to pull through the heat exchanger?
The 2 pumps won't help much. The heat exchanger is going to help that system a lot. That pump is actually better. But just keep in mind, our heat exchanger is going to help a lot, but at the end of the day, it's the core below the supercharger that's the limitation on that kit. We're experimenting with something that is not a core that might potentially help with air temps. If that works, we'll let you know. But yeah, that's the situation. I mean, it couldn't hurt to get our triple pass if you're looking to get those temps down.
And with that said, let's call it a wrap.
Man,
Sweet.
it's like 2:30 on the dot. Oh, it's 2:32.
2:32.
For those that don't know, if that's the Grey Goose I'm thinking of, he makes a whole bunch of like adapter harnesses and stuff for like swapping like Raptor steering wheels in, swapping taillights,
cool.
and stuff like that for the newer F-150s.
Nice. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and other people.
Your companions,
on the
partners.
interwebs. Yeah. So, for those that are new, every Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time, and we also have another show, Burnout Box, with Rebecca and Donnie, on Thursdays at 6 p.m. And we've got content hitting our YouTube channel every couple of days, so check us out.
Hit that bell for notifications.
We just got a comment that came in. It's kind of funny. Rob Ingram says, VMP Performance, thanks for working on It's Just a 6 startup tune. Watching him struggle time and time again to get it started was getting annoying, so thank you.
Yeah, the trick was us knowing that there was a problem.
Well, and you know, like, how do you know that wasn't just part of the story? The struggle was planned, so you would watch the struggle.
The struggle is
Yeah, so a heads up to those that don't already know. If there's something that you don't like about your tune, tell your tuner. Because tuners don't always watch YouTube videos every day, so they don't know you have a problem if you don't tell them.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you
Bye,
next
guys.
time. Bye.